Welcome to the Texas Intestacy Overview, and we're going to see if we can do this in 5 minutes or less. I'm Robert Jewett, and yes, I am a Texas attorney. If your loved one has died without a will in Texas, they are said to have died intestate. When that happens, there are 4 ways to resolve their estate. The first is to simply do nothing. The second is called an Affidavit of Airship. Third is the Small Estates Affidavit, and fourth is the Judicial Determination of Airship. Now, the first method of resolution is to do nothing. Texas law does not require that every estate be resolved through probate. Probate is only necessary if you need access to assets like bank accounts or to retitle an asset like a home or other real property. The Texas Department of Motor Vehicles provides an affidavit of airship for cars and trucks, so you may be able to transfer title without probate. The second way to resolve an estate is via an affidavit of airship. The affidavit of airship is relatively low cost and it has no court proceeding. You can complete the affidavit without an attorney, but you need to be very careful because mistakes here can be costly. The weakness of this method is it has no legal weight for at least 5 years, and even then, it is only considered evidence about the property. The affidavit of airship does not provide access to bank accounts, retirement accounts, or any other financial asset, and it can be very difficult to transfer real property like a home because most title companies will not accept an affidavit of airship as evidence of ownership. Title companies ensure the chain of title via a title policy, which protects the buyer against a false claim of ownership from the seller. An affidavit of airship is only a sworn statement with no judicial review, and it's risky to use for a title company. Most title companies won't work with an affidavit of airship, and if they do, it involves higher costs and more hassle. Now, the third way to resolve an estate is via the Small Estates Affidavit. The Small Estates Affidavit costs slightly more than the Affidavit of Airship, but it is better because it is signed off on by a judge. As a result, title companies will typically be more comfortable in providing title insurance for this kind of transaction, and banks are more likely to accept the Small Estates Affidavit. To qualify for a Small Estate Affidavit, the estate must meet 4 requirements. First, the estate must be solvent. That is, its assets must exceed its liabilities. Second, the decedent's estate could not have owned any real property other than the homestead. Third, the decedent's property must be valued at less than $75,000, again, not including the decedent's homestead and exempt property. And fourth, and this is the biggie, you cannot transfer real property using a Small Estates Affidavit to anyone other than a surviving spouse or a minor child of the decedent. That means if your parent died owning a house and did not have a will, the Small Estates Affidavit cannot be used to transfer their property. Now, the final way to resolve an estate when there is no will is the Judicial Determination of Airship. The good news here is that the judicial determination can be used in every situation. It works if there are debts, it works without regard to the value of the estate, and it will resolve every kind of property the decedent may have owned. The downside to a judicial determination is that it costs a lot of money and it takes a while to complete. As of May 2022, in Harris County, a judicial determination of airship costs between $4,500 and $6,000 and typically takes 6 to 9 months to resolve. And those are likely best case numbers, and they assume that all of the heirs are in agreement. Now, intestacy can be a complicated area, so I do not recommend that you try to go it alone. Find yourself a probate attorney and be prepared to share information about the family and marital history of the person who has died, along with financial information such as the property owned. If you go down a wrong path here, or even if you take the correct path but make a mistake, it can cost thousands of dollars to make corrections. So where do you go from here? Well, you can find links below for information on the Affidavit of Airship and the Small Estates Affidavit. Check those out if you think the estate qualifies. Check out the link to my video on the Judicial Determination of Airship to get more details on that process. You can click the last link to find me on the internet. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like so other people can find it as well. Until next time, I'm Robert Jewett. Take care out there.